Capsule Monster Chess in Minecraft. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this is part of my Death T series. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my videos where I built Death T1, Death T2, and of course Death T3, all in Minecraft. And today is Death T4, Capsule Monster Chess. This is Mokuba's stage from the Yu-Gi-Oh manga or the original anime. If you're not familiar with it, definitely go and check it out because it is a lot of fun. But this is Capsule Monster Chess in Minecraft. So Capsule Monster Chess is a game that sort of combines like Duel Monsters or Pokemon kind of with chess, and makes this sort of really fun chess monster battle game where your players have to face off against each other in what's essentially a chess game. But the rules are slightly different, and monsters have levels and they battle each other and destroy monsters with lower levels. It's a little bit complicated. We'll get into that later in the video, if not in a future video. But this is how we're going to build that in Minecraft. So we're using item frames for this. So if we take a look at the image that I have of Yugi and Mokuba's game board for Death T4, you'll see that there are 8 spaces. It's an 8x8 board with obstacles sort of in the middle. So we use these dripstone to represent the obstacles, which are like little mountain things, and we'll use item frames to represent the board itself. And people get their little capsule monsters, which are these spawn eggs represented by spawn eggs, and they place them in wherever they want. You get 5 monsters at the start, place them on your side of the field, and to move them, you just pick it up and put it wherever you want it to go. And just like that, that's basically Capsule Monster Chess. Now, in Death T4, it was actually a virtual Capsule Monster Chess. So they had their tables set up in a little glass box, and underneath them was a giant version of the game board in which the virtual monsters would come to life and battle each other, just like Mokuba and Yugi were doing, and it would play out for the crowd. Now, we can't really do that to that sort of scale in Minecraft. We could. It would just become really, really complicated and difficult and probably a bit beyond my abilities, to be honest with you. But since Death T is a team game, we have teams of 3, maybe 4, you all join in. And since, of course, Capsule Monster Chess is a 2-player game, not a 4-player or 5-player or whatever type of game, there will be some players left over who just won't be able to participate. So when the team comes up to Death T4, they're going to select one player to go against Mokuba, or whoever I decide to play Capsule Monster Chess as the big bad of Death T4, and their teammates are going to go into the giant version of the arena. Each square of each of these sorts of game squares will be a 4x4 square here, which will make it 32 by 32, which is actually about the same. It's a little bit shorter than Death T2, and players will be on this giant board, and when a capsule monster is placed on this board, that same mob, this case being a Ravager, is going to spawn in the exact same square on the giant map, and players will have to watch out for that and try not to get killed. So that creates a 2-stage to this game. So in the final Death T5, I'm going to make it a boss duel rather than just a one-on-one, so players, whoever is left, can all team up to face the boss. So in this case, players who aren't playing the game will have to survive in the arena below, and I think I'm going to have them fight a big boss monster as well. I'm thinking the Wither. If the players in the big arena manage to kill the Wither, then the team wins. If the player playing Capsule Monsters manages to win by wiping out all of his opponent's pieces, then the team wins and are able to leave the giant arena. So that's how we're going to make this a bit more cooperative with the team, a bit more fun for everyone involved, and just a lot more intense with multiple ways to win so that the whole team can join together as one. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get this started. I'm going to start off by building the big arena first. We're going to just launch this right into the sky just to give me lots and lots of room for redstone. Let's time-lapse building this arena. So the Capsule Monster Chess Arena is really convenient. I've decided to make it a basic chessboard checkered design. I know in the manga, in the actual non-colored manga, it's just plain white, but it's just all one color but you can see the checkered outlines of the squares of it, because obviously you need to know where the squares are so that you can place your pieces down and actually play the game, since they move square by square. So just to replicate that, I'm going to make it a little bit more like chess using these two different colors. I'm using these colors again because they look like the most wasteland sort of colors, you know what I mean? And that's the sort of vibe that I want to go for this build. Okay, so there we have our 8x8 board. Very easy. Let me light this up down below real quick. I don't need more bats in this server, alright? We've got enough bats on the map. I don't need more. I appreciate you guys. I really like bats. That's probably still going to cause bats to spawn, but oh well, I did what I could. So this is the checkered layout of the Capsule Monster Giant version. Now let's build in all the obstacles. So I've got a bit of a block palette down here. Of just the sort of blocks that we're going to use to build this up. Just these nice brown, you know, all sorts of different colored browns. And we've got this wall as well, mud brick wall, for the outside area, which is sort of like a castle wall thing. If we look again in our reference image, that's how that looks like. So to start off, I think we should build the level up squares. That'll give us a good basis of where to go from there. I want these to actually be something that the players can jump up onto as well, because there's going to be secret hidden stuff up here for the players themselves to be able to level up, just like the monsters in the game. Alright, that's the level up square number 1 on this side. Now let's go build it again on this side. Cool, that's the 2 level up squares. So far off to a good start. It actually is looking like a Capsule Monster game board. Now let's move on to building the obstacles. Okay, so the 2 obstacles are 4 across and 1, 2, 3, 4 down here and here. We'll just get something going. Oof, that looks horrendous. So that's sort of a mountain. Yeah, that's looking like something, isn't it? Alright, let's build another one over here.
2 hours later.
There we go, that's our 2 little obstacles in the main field. So what's cool about these obstacles is that players will actually be able to climb up them. I don't know what benefit they'll have from that, but maybe a better shot at the wither that they're going to be fighting, or just some bonus that will come from being on top of here. I'm not entirely sure yet, but there you go, that's our 2 mini obstacles. There are still more on the map, however, so let's build those in as well. From here, 1, 2, and replicate that on the other side. This actually needs to be raised as well. This is the evolution square, which I actually kind of prefer, those ones are the HP recovery squares, whatever that means. But okay, so now we just got to build up some obstacles for those bits. Okay, there we go. That's our obstacles put in. I'm actually just going to build this up a little bit. I'm not sure if it's not enough, though. I feel like there could be more going on in this, but overall, the map is quite simple. I mean, that's what Death T4 is supposed to look like. Right now, we're going to build the main stage for Death T4, that being the actual game of Capsule Monsters itself. I think I may have actually built this backwards. I can rotate it later if I need to. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think the glass box, or at least the walkway, is about 4 meters higher than the tallest point being about here, and it should be on this. Yeah, let's go with that. Alright, let's build that in. Think that that will create a nice little platform there, and that's going to be the center of the game board. Now, like I was saying before, I was thinking I might actually use this color for the game board and have the item frames set to invisible, so that'll just look more like a game board and like we're playing on a board rather than playing on item frames. And this is obviously going to be the smaller version, only 8x8. Awesome. So in the actual glass box in the manga, there's not a whole lot in it. There's just 2 seats and a table. It should actually come up a couple steps. That's my bad. This needs to be taller. And then we're going to make this a glass box. So like I said, in the manga, the battle box is a very, very simple design. It has no more than it needs. Through here, we should be able to see our teammates, and hopefully you'll have shaders on so that this glass looks a lot nicer, but you should be able to see your teammates. Let's have a look at how that looks from the outside. Honestly, not all that impressive. I might actually chuck some slabs under here. Okay, that does definitely improve it from down here. You can see your friend battling to the death up there. I think I'm going to get rid of these corners because I think that looks kind of a little bit ugly and a little bit clunky. This would be a hell of a lot better if there were shaders on. I hate the look of Minecraft glass, but it's the only see-through block that we have to work with. It's all I can do is use Minecraft glass. We need shaders on, that's all. I promise it'll look a lot better with shaders on. Alright, that's not looking too bad. Again, would look a lot better if we had the shaders on. I will be the first to admit that because I think that glass looks horrendous. From the outside, looks even worse. I'll be real with you, it looks even worse from the outside. If you're playing this, put on shaders, for goodness sake. So that is the basics of that, I think. Now all we do have to do is add in the obstacles on the game board. There we go. Like that. A couple small ones. We've got a small, medium, small. 2 from here, small, medium, small. Well, medium is actually quite big. And then we have on this side a medium, medium, large. Jeepers, that's kind of freaky looking. Now what we need is, I reckon, I'll test out these item frames first. We'll see how this looks. I don't think I like this at all. So in the game of Capsule Monsters, the opposite corners, which I've represented with these anvils, the opposite corners are level up or evolution squares. So the way that's going to work is that your Capsule Monsters, that being the mob spawn eggs, will have a level written on it, like level 1 per se. And if they get to the opposing evolution square, then they go up. Oh, here we go, we have a spawn egg. So that's gonna say Ravagers are level 5, but for the sake of argument, we'll say level 2 Ravager, right? That's what your Capsule Monster is gonna look like. So if you get it, you're walking through, you got your level 2 Ravager, he's crawling along, and then he makes it all the way to here. Then you can put him in, and he goes up 3 levels. So you change that to level 5, hence why it's an anvil, and then he just sort of there, and we'll definitely make that one an invisible one. So then he's sitting there, now a level 5 Ravager, which is really cool. So that's how that's gonna work. But also there's these HP healing squares on the opposite corners as well that either player can use, supposedly. And that's never actually explained in the manga, nor the anime, how that works. In the real life game, there is HP involved, but I think that makes the game a little too complicated, so we're not going to include that, but I would really like to use these glow item frames. I think if you get to one of these spaces, then you can revive maybe one of your eggs or one of your capsules, and you can only do that once per game or something like that. I'll play with the rules, we'll test it out and see how it works, but for now this is basically what it's going to look like. So I am going to real quick put in these invisible item frames. What is the command again? I have them somewhere. I can just go steal it. I can go copy it. I'm going to do that. I'll be back real quick. Oh! That's exactly what I wanted to avoid. Item frame. That should be an invisible one. This extra work for nothing. Will I have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. I gotta go fix this real quick. I will be right with you in a moment. Oh, damn it. I did not get what I needed. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this will get me what I want. Aha! There we go. Invisible item frames. Excellent. Alright, let's place these in. Now let's test this out. Presumably, we have a little capsule monster. Boom, he's in. Look at him go. That looks kind of cool. I like that you can put that in, and it looks like they're just pieces on a game board. I think that looks awesome. We can even put them up there, which looks great. We just have to be careful not to break the item frames as well. Be very careful about that, thank you. And then we've got the, of course, the walkway coming off here. Alright, obviously this is a very dangerous rail, so try not to fall off, but you know, Kaiba lives on the edge. He likes danger. I mean, that's the whole point of Death T, is to kill Yugi. So if Yugi fell off and died here, you know, I think that would just all be according to plan. If Yugi failed that part of the game, then that's his failure. So don't fall off and die there, or you will die and I will not bring you back. So all that's missing from here, there's quite a bit missing actually. What we need now is the randomizer. Let's take a look. Let me show you. So I really should have put these in shulker boxes. I wasn't thinking that through. But nonetheless, in here is the different monsters that you can get and that you can summon, ranged in level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's their monster levels. Monsters with a higher level will destroy a monster with a lower level, and if two monsters of the same level battle each other, then they simply destroy each other. That makes a nice sound. So the levels are very important, which is why it's so important for the players and the enemy player, the opponent, to have a random assortment of capsule monsters. Of course, in the manga, Mokuba cheats and gives Yugi all the low level ones while he takes the high level ones, which ends up in his undoing. But nonetheless, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it fair. Yeah, so we need a randomizer. So in Capsule Monster Chess, assuming that your opponent isn't cheating, the players are randomly given their capsules via a gacha machine, which we are going to place right over here. And it all starts with a simple dropper and a stone button. You press the button and it gives you your capsules. The first problem is that the droppers drop them in order, which isn't really what we want. Okay, that wasn't in, okay, maybe it is not in order and I'm just, I don't know how it works. But in any case, that's a little boring. And also, we have 60 different capsules that the players could be given. So what, a single dropper is just not going to take it. So we're going to make this a little bit more fancy and make it a lot more cool with some extra redstone. So what we're going to have here is we're going to have a hopper feeding into our dropper there, which is going to, you know, put stuff into it. And then we want another one pointed into there. So on top of these hoppers here, we want to have a soul sand right there, and then we're going to have a water source just there. So what that will actually do, if you don't know already, this will cause bubbles to form here, which will actually cause both players and items to jump up. That is an effect of the soul sand creating a bubble column. Now if we surround that and then drop a bunch of items into here, then it'll create this epic shuffling effect where the weather is just not good today in real life and in Minecraft, which will create this awesome little, you know, gacha box effect where they're all jumping and bouncing around. And then when we want them to go in, we simply pull this back and they will drop down. Now, of course, that's not going to work out well for us at the moment, but, you know, that's the idea. Now, what we could potentially do is actually have our dropper there so that it spits out upwards. So then, of course, we'll need a hopper into there to feed the items back into our dropper. The next thing to do is to sort out how the items are going to be dropped into here, which is fairly simple. You're just gonna have a dropper like so. It's going to spit the items out into there. Next, what we need is a hopper going into there, and we need 2 chests just like so. Now, in order to get them to flow into the hopper, we are going to have a very simple sticky piston, and that's just going to pull that out of the way when it's activated, thus letting the water flow down without overflowing. So that's going to be lit sort of like that, and then when this turns off, pulls that away, and water floods everywhere. Oh my goodness, no. That's gonna break. And pull that out of the way, which is going to allow, that's going to turn off the bubble column, and then allow the items to drop down into the hopper, which is then going to go into the dropper. So that's essentially how that works. Next up, we have a slightly different issue, right? How do we get the leftover items out, right? Because we don't want all of our eggs to despawn if they don't go into there, and we don't really want players to know which ones are left over, because some super genius big brain person might work out which ones are left because of that. Not that that really matters at all, but point is that we don't want them to go away. That's the main thing. So we're going to create a simple item elevator using our droppers. So we're going to line up our droppers like so, and have that fit into the chest. If I'm not mistaken, we put that in there. We take our button, put that there, and that should presumably fit into there and into the chest, which will then go into there and feed it into that one. Awesome. Okay, that works. Next up, what we need is a way for the droppers to activate when there are things in them, causing them to go up. So in order to do that, we need a little bit of complicated redstone. So first of all, we need to detect if this first one has anything inside it, and that is very easy to do with a comparator. That is exactly what comparators are for, detects if anything is inside it. Look, if I put an item in there, that creates a redstone signal, and that's how that works. Very simple. Next up, we need that to carry the signal out into there, and then need it to come back. So we need redstone dust out here, and then have that loop into there. If redstone goes into the comparator, it basically turns the comparator off, and then since the comparator turns off, this whole thing turns off, which means the comparator will turn on again if something's in it, and that will create this little redstone clock here where it just keeps going. And I'm going to chuck a redstone here just cause, and you'll see why in just a second, because we're going to use observers to activate these. So the observer needs to be looking at that. So since this is blinking, that's causing this to basically just go off and get very excited about it, which is awesome. Now next we want an observer looking at this one. Since it is looking at this one and this one's going off, that one's going to go off. So basically this just repeats the clock upwards like so until we get to the top, and then we have observers looking at this, which you can hear now has caused some spitting to happen and caused that to go up, up, and up, bang, 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 bang. So these observers are looking at these ones are looking at this one, and this one is looking at that. So if an item gets put into there, that activates it, causing it to shoot all the way up into the dropper. And that is how that works. That is a very simple item elevator. It looks sleek, it looks nice, especially from the inside. I think it looks pretty cool. Creates a sort of techie feel to the box, which is awesome, which it does actually have in the manga, though just on the top. There is some high-tech stuff going on up there. We've just added it to the side to create our little gadget box. I would like to condense this up a bit so it's not as visible from here. We could do this just to synergize it with the rest of this build. You guys let me know what you think, whether you prefer the quartz being there or not. But at the moment, I think that looks better. It creates a bit of a pattern, makes it look kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's alright. And it hides the redstone a bit, looks a little bit less messy. So we have this here coming out, repeater here to go 1, 2, 3, 4, go into there, and then 5. Yeah, I don't think that would go into there. This actually needs to annoyingly come out and then spit back into the dropper, which hopefully doesn't look too bad from this side. Oh, floating redstone. Oh, I don't like that. Alright, so that will turn this clock on, which will then activate this repeater, which will activate the dropper, which will cause it to drop as soon as there is an item in it. Boom. That just spit out, as we can hear, and went into there, and since that's not activated, it should go straight into there. Excellent. That's exactly how we want that to function. Now we need something that will turn this off. So that's going to need to be a repeater into there, and then we need some form of an off switch. So now we need a mechanism that will basically turn this off. So I think I'm actually gonna swap that out for redstone. That'll look a little bit nicer. So to keep it on, Redstone, I think, works best. And then we're sticky piston and repeater into there. And then presumably all we need is a switch. No. We could potentially have repeater. Okay, that functions. Looks alright. Okay, that works. Now that creates a switch right next to the machine itself. And then we just cover this up for symmetry's sake. Okay, that functions. So that will turn on and off the bubble elevator, which will get it working. So we get it going. Boom, 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 boom. When we're thoroughly shuffled, turn that off. It all flows into here. And then we can start pressing buttons to get our eggs out. Awesome. Okay, that's a good start. Now, what we need to do is turn this off. We need to turn this mechanism off completely so that it doesn't function anymore. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get some redstone dust and put that there. So now this is going to go up here and then up here like so. Repeat it there to the final extension and then have that line up there. Why does that? That's not what we want at all. Wait, why don't we just move it out here? Bro, I'm a genius. Alright, there we go. Not connect to there. Okay. There we go. I'm not dumb, you're dumb. Alright, let's do that. Connect that up. Excellent. Alright, so now that that is presumably functioning, so what that should do is if we were to deactivate that, that'll feed into there, and that'll turn that on, which then activates that, which turns off the comparator, which stops things from being spat out again. So when we're ready to start the gacha machine. It starts spitting them out. They start shuffling around. Bubble, 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 bubble. Of course, it's going to spit out a lot more. Turn it off. Boom. Huh, that's awkward. Well, I guess we just won't have anything in there in the first place. Now, what we're going to have here, of course, we need our friendly neighborhood, the button. That's a weird name, friendly neighborhood, the button. Yes, you heard me. Okay, that's going to go there. And then players will be able to... Boop. Of course it doesn't work. Why would it work? Okay, that's fine. What we're going to do here is we're just going to move this cross. Which is, you know, kind of slightly annoying, actually, but that's okay. Alright, now, stone button. Yay! There we go, a fully functioning, very epic gacha machine. Turn it on, boom, they start spitting out, turn it off. There we go. Okay, now, there is still one more issue of getting the items back into the system, the leftover items, that is, not the items that we're using. So, how do we do that? Well, you know, Senkara, that's a really good question. Alright, so one way that it can be done is that we can have a hopper go straight into the dropper. That makes sense, right? Items that go in here will then go into the dropper. But what will actually happen is if there is space in a hopper below the hopper, this hopper will suck it out before it can go into the dropper. So now if we put items into here, it all goes into here, which then feeds into here, obviously, but it's full. And all the leftover stuff gets spat out into the system. And this gets nice and full, for the most part anyway, for the most part. So that's sort of the easiest way to do this, to create a little bit of a sorting system. So once all of this gets filled, the rest will just go back into the system. And then later on, I just have to clear out the system and take everything and chuck it back in after the game is done. The reason that we need this, of course, to go back into the system on its own is so that we don't have leftovers ready to despawn, because we can only hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, plus 9, 19 out of 60. So, like, 41 eggs will be left over, not going anywhere, which is why we need them to go back into the system. There is some solutions, maybe, but I don't think I like them. One solution, basically just have that going in, and then have this going in that way, and then this will go this way, and then here we'll have a dropper, other way, which will then feed into our actual dropper. Problem with that is, that means we're going to have to activate this dropper, which is going to require more redstone, which is just, quite frankly, not going to look fantastic, and I don't even think it's going to fit, because this is in the way, which isn't necessarily bad. I mean, that does fit there And if it sticks out, could add some depth. Might not be so bad after all. Maybe my solution just presented itself and we just follow that. Ah. And if I cover this up like so now from below, it just sort of looks like an attachment and kind of looks cool and gives it a bit more support for the whole system. I mean, it makes it make more sense by real world logic, so I kind of like that. I think that's a good addition. How do we look from the inside? And maybe we just sort of stick a dropper there for the sake of symmetry. All that's left is this block here is safe to break. Chuck it there, and then gonna need to lower this entire contraption, which will come out of there, repeater, dust, boom, 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 bam. That is gonna look at that, oh jeez, and then that, gonna look at that, and then that, gonna look at that. So now, chuck that in there, shoots up into here, and that got spat out because of course the system is on and ready to go. Turned off, done shuffling. Where did that go? Is it because of this? Is that turning that off? That's turning that off, isn't it? Oh snap, it is. And annoyingly, that caused that to spit itself out as well. What happened here? Of course, I've got a repeater going into there. What we can do is we can have that just take the long way around, and then on this side, we have that come out and feed into there. So now, if we... that spat it out, and that should be... yes! Oh, good. Now, problem... you. I think what we're going to have to do is expand this. So now that's going to go under there, and that's going to go under there, and does that feed up? Oh, it does, just. So now if I chuck that in there, it ends up in there. Wonderful. That's good. And that needs to be 1 out 2 right there, which is actually going to cover that up, which is then going to look actually quite a bit nicer. So I'm glad that I had to do that. Oh yeah, we go, gotcha machine on! Let's start spitting them there. They're jumping around, they're shuffling about. Boom, 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 boom. Turn that off. They sink into there. No! Why? I thought I stopped that from happening. Go into there. Now, fix spawn. That spat it out. Let's chuck a few in. Yo, it's spitting, and it's not spitting. Let's put them where they should be. Oh, yes. Okay, beautiful. Oh, that's working. Now we just need to cover all of this up and make it look nice and pretty. And that should look pretty alright. Yes, it does. Awesome. I'm just going to fill up this. This is still not actually as many as we're going to have, but it should be enough to test out the system in its entirety. So let's just chuck all of these. We can activate the system. Boom! Go! It's gonna start spitting them out. Oh, look at them all shuffling about. We wait until that stops clicking. Now they're all being shuffled about in there. I don't know if that actually causes any shuffling to happen. But what it does do is, you know, it causes them to have so much shuffling in here, with the droppers spinning them up one at a time, then going into hoppers, then going into chests, then going into hoppers, then going into a dropper, and then getting shuffled in here, and then getting randomly picked up by hopper, 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 dropper, dropper, and dropper. Turn it off, we're ready to go. Yeah, no, it's not working because I'm retarded. There we go. Oh, now they're spitting. So they should all go back into the chest. Boom. What did we get? We got a pig spawn. Boom. We got a pufferfish spawn. Boom. B. And we only need 10, 5 per player, so, you know, definitely functions well enough. There is one problem in that those two there didn't go in the system, and that is the problem when using water elevators, is that it doesn't always work the way you want it to. But that's okay. These should be chucked back in. Boom. And then we can chuck all of these back in, and they will be fed back into the system. That is our gacha machine capsule monster shuffler Oh, and it functions. Now, what we could actually do here, a thought occurs to me, is instead of this, I could just make this real simple for myself and go hopper, hopper, hopper. So now all excess ones I can just chuck into these hoppers. That is the gacha machine. That works. That is how players are going to get their capsule monsters, and then they're going to put them on the board. Epic. Ooh. Right, now there's only 2 more things left to do. Next up, we're going to work out how to get it so that when players place their monsters on this board, the monsters will appear on this board. So I've come up with a rather very complicated but also rather simple solution, and that is to turn to Reddit. And Reddit gave me the answers. Huge shout out to Gal Sergey for actually building me a data pack that will enable what we want to do to happen. So the problem is we need to place spawn eggs in our invisible item frames and have the monster spawn in the appropriate spot down below. So what Gal Sergey has done is create a data pack that when we put a spawn egg in one of these certain invisible item frames, it will be able to read the egg that is in there, read the data of that egg, and summon an appropriate mob based on that data. So there's a couple things that we need to do to set this up first. The first thing is to stand in this corner here, and what we're going to do is put a marker here. So we're going to go /summon marker right here, and then we need to give it the tags square bracket, and then we're going to call this one small_field like that, and then close those off. And what that will do is summon a marker for our small field, and then we're going to do the same one for the big field down below. So there's an invisible marker here, which is similar idea to put the weather like, and you know what, the sun as well. There we go. So now we're going to come over here, and just in the middle of the square, I would say about here, we're going to do pretty much exactly the same thing, except this time we're going to call it big field. Okay, so now there's a marker in the big field and a marker in the small field. So what that does is allows the data pack to read, this is where the small field starts and this is where the big field starts, and then it can guess where to put the mob based off of that, which is really cool, with a variable of 4, since this field is 4 times larger than this field, which is really, really awesome. But first thing that we need before we can get this to work is the item frames. We need a special type of item frame. So this is going to be a little bit complicated, but we're going to do /give @self item frame, and then we need to give this item frame some entity data. So this is going to allow us to set certain things about the item frame. So entity data equals, we'll go squiggly bracket, ID Minecraft_item_frame, and then comma. Then we're going to, this is the real important part, we got to give it tags just like with our markers. So our tags is going to be cell. This is going to specify the type of item frame that the data pack is going to be looking into. So let's close that bracket and comma. Of course, we also need it to be invisible, true, because we want our item frames to be invisible, just, you know, to make it look nice. Okay, now let's close it off. And that did not work. Why? I'm a goose. I know why that didn't work. Silly me. Gotta get rid of this one, put that there, and get rid of this one because we don't need that. There we go. Invisible equals true. So now we have an invisible item frame with the tag cell. So that's going to allow the data pack to actually look into this item frame and see what item is inside. So now we just need to fill up the field. Well, that is precisely not invisible. Capital I, apparently that's the issue. Okay, that's kind of weird. Okay, now all that we need to do is get ourselves a spawn egg. Let's get this nice orange one, a frog. We're gonna spawn a frog. So we put him in here. Look at that! We got ourselves a little frog! Okay, let's put one in the middle there. It's a frog! There's a frog! So now I'm just going to test this. We're going to put it on easy mode, and we're going to summon a, let's go with a skeleton. Gonna put Mr. Skelly Boy down. Oh, I heard that. Oh, he's burning in the sun. Heck yes, that is so good. So there's one thing that I want to test real quick, just to make sure that this really works, because at certain points in the game, we're going to need to change the name and potentially the level. So, skeleton level 5, for example, if we change the name, will he still spawn in properly? Oh. Okay, he doesn't. Oh, he does. Okay, well, plus side, we can change the name and it still spawns. That's good. Downside, we can only spawn him in once per item frame. Why is that even the case? I don't know. I will contact Sergey about that and they can fix it for me, maybe. We're gonna need to reset that every time, which is mildly frustrating, but not too huge of an issue. That's fine. So next, there's a couple other things that I want to do. So this is all done, basically. We have working Capsule Monster Chest, which is absolutely amazing. That's fantastic. But there's a couple things I want to do first, just to spice things up a little bit, just a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is / give myself a command block, the almighty command block, and we're going to first put a couple here. This is just going to make things look a little bit spicier, but also it's going to trap people in. That's the point. So now you're really trapped in and you can't escape. Also prevents the weather from coming in here. That's probably a much bigger issue. But anyway, now question is, what do I want the door to look like? Just iron is probably fine. Deep slate block might look really ugly, but might be okay. Okay, I kind of like that. It has a sense of impending doom to it. So what these are going to do is /fill there to there, and we're going to do chiseled deep slate. No blocks were filled. Okay, so if we get rid of these, and then boom, it does that. All right, cool. Select all, copy, and put that in there. So then what we're going to do is put pressure plates, just simple. This is classic old school redstone. Bonk. There we go. Problem solved. Now we've got to do the same on these ones. And this one is actually going to be a little different. This one's going to be the one that releases you. You're just not allowed to go on it until you win the game. Or maybe winning the game gets you pressure plates. Suppose I could hold on to pressure plates and then give them to you after you win. Select all, cut, paste. Paste. Nice, simple redstone door. Okay, now, next order of business is just a way to make the game a little bit more exciting. So what I want to do is, there are two types of special corner. The first is the level up corner. So if you get one of your capsule monsters to the opposite corner over here, they level up, right? Self-explanatory. That will all be in the rules, which I'll detail later on. And over here, according to the guide in the manga, these corners are healing corners. Now, as far as Capsule Monster Chest actually goes, it's all about, like, just destroying your opponent's capsule monsters. So, I have no idea what healing does. Healing seems to have no implication to the actual game itself. There's no point in these healing spaces. I really don't get it. But what we can do is actually offer something with these healing spaces to give the player a little bit of incentive to go over here. Okay, so what I have done, you'll see my little additions to the big field, and, well, if you don't know where this is going, I'm holding it in my hand. That's a little bit awkward. Beacon! That's what we're doing. We're doing a beacon. So, what we're going to do is set it up so when you land on these corners, it activates a beacon. So it's going to be, this is going to be very simple, like basic redstone. We're going to get rid of this. And I think it's going to look very, actually quite cool to have these command blocks in the corner, which we can also be like representative of, like, you know, the holographic display thing is done with these special command ticky block things. Yeah, you know, just for lore purposes. So what this is going to do is when we're here, when someone lands here, you're going to press a button, it's going to activate a beacon, and basically give the players down there a, like, diamond as well, which they can use to then put the beacon to whatever they want, basically, which is going to be really cool. So, in order to do that, this needs to set off 2 commands. Now, you can't really set off 2 commands in one command block, or if you can, I am not advanced enough to know how to do it. What we're going to do instead is have that 1 command trigger 2 commands, just here, like so. Very, very easy. So what we want to do is, first of all, slash set block that one there to a beacon. Boom, please work. Yes, there we go. Excellent. Now they can access that and get the regeneration. This is why I chose beacon, because this is meant to be a healing spot, so we're going to allow the players down there to have a little bit of healing, to give them regen as well as, well, basically anything that they want, because their choice. So, first of all, that one, copy, cut. We're going to do this one, paste in there. So that is going to put a beacon there, and then this one is going to give them a diamond, or put a diamond somewhere, slash give, I'm gonna give to the nearest player a diamande. Boom. Just one. Okay, so now, that's not centered at all. Okay, so now what we're going to do is slash set block as a redstone block. And that triggers both of that. I just got diamonds and a beacon is there. So now I can go to the beacon, put the diamond in, and give myself strength and regeneration. Da-da! Let's get rid of that and let me just whoop, select all, cut, paste that in there. Done. When a piece goes here, we're going to press a button. I'm going to use the Smexy Blackstone button. That there, and beacon. I just got a diamond. Beacon goes up. We are good to go. Very, very epic. So now let's do this side over here. Done. And then give that bad boy a button. Boom. Next thing I want to do is these corners, the level up corners. We're going to give the players some items in here, and that's going to be very cool. So what I would actually like to do is have the items randomly be spit out here. I think we can do that simply using dispensers or droppers. Wait. Slash game mode adventure. No, I can still access that. Do you mind, sir? Okay, so it turns out in adventure mode you can still access that, which is a wee bit of a problem because obviously— what? True. Okay, so players can access in adventure mode, so we can't stop them from accessing the droppers. So my solution was to have a dropper elevator that just spits them up. You know, like 2 droppers, that way they can't access them from the top, but it will still pop out. Wait. If I do that, then surely, if I put a redstone repeater and a block of redstone, put the repeater there, and then put something in here, piece of paper. Aha! Okay, cool, that does work. So this is going to spit out 4 random-ish items that will help the players down here to deal with their situation, because they've got a bit of a situation going on. Cool. Okay, that should trigger all of them to basically go off, and all we need done is for that to trigger a set of command blocks. 3 slash set block redstone block. Boom. That triggers that. Awesome. Done. Okay, so now if I put something in each of these, ping. Boom. Okay, that one didn't spit itself out for some unknown reason, but it is there nonetheless, as is that one. That works as expected, except for that one, which is kind of weird. Now we just need to set block that one. Cut. Ah! Didn't trigger that one. Oh, right, I understand why. It's because I'm stupid. That there, so it's actually touching the redstone block. That would definitely help, yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot get this one to trigger unless we can. Because what we can do is actually, and I reckon may as well, to be honest. I think, just because it's cool and it makes things easier. These frogs really like to hang around me. It's kind of nice. Redstone block. Fortunately, they're all going to have to die eventually. Oh well. Next order of business. What goes into these? Just give them a random sword. That seems reasonably intelligent. Yeah. So now that'll give them like just one of those. Bow, crossbow, wind charge that they can only use once. Is that all the ranged weapons? We'll throw trident back in here. As for this one, shield, tell you what we can do is we can actually just put a stack of arrows in this one. And then they can just get arrows. Chestplate, netherite chestplate, leather, chainmail, gold, iron. Give them a totem of undying. You know, this is protective stuff, right? I reckon just another shield. Tell you what, something else we can do is, in this one, in the ranged weapons, we can give them potions. Infestation. What is that? Oozing. Oh my goodness, these sound awful. Let's put those in here, eh? There we go, that's filled with ranged items. And now we'll fill this one with juicy good items. Invis could actually somewhat come in handy. Speed. Let's give them a bit of a bonus of instant health 2 and regen 2. Just to really spice things up. Awesome! Okay, this is all set up to shuffle our capsule monsters from there into here. Then press these to spit them out one at a time. These are set up to trap the players in once they walk in. And then these are all set up to give the players down below bonuses. This is set up to turn this to air. That, ladies and gentlemen, is 5-player holographic capsule monster chess shadow game thing in Minecraft. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Been a little bit longer, 3 hours of recording, goodness me. If you leave a comment down below if you want to play Death T when it's finished. We only have Death T5 left to go, which is going to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters shadow game in Minecraft. It's going to be very, very epic, and I'm very much looking forward to building it. I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing it. Let me know what you think of today's build in the comments. I think it is pretty cool. One of the coolest things that I have ever built in Minecraft. Thank you all so very much for watching. My name has been Senkara, and until next time, see ya.